Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Roll call. 4 members of council are present. I'll ask everyone to please stand for the prayer and the national anthem. Oh, do we still have that funky national anthem? C'est encore la même hymne national? Okay. Wait till you see this. Attendu que le Canada est fondé sur des principes qui reconnaissent la suprématie de Dieu et la primauté du droit, prenons un moment de réflexion personnelle. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law, let us take a moment of personal reflection. Merci tout le monde. I say we get one of the local choirs in here to sing that song, and we were just recorded.
Contest.
Yeah.
Have a local person sing it.
Item 4, additions, deletions, or amendments. Councillor Saucier, you had an item for under 17. I guess that would be 17B. For debate tomorrow night. Okay, 17B. Councillor Saucier. Anything else, members of council? No? Need a mover and a seconder? Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Adoption of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Brisson, seconded Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? Approved. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Item 7, adoption of minutes. Regular council minutes of May 22nd, 2018. Motion to approve the following minutes as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Conseiller Saucier. Questions, comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Presentations, we have none. Delegations, we have none. Item 10, consent items. Motion that all items listed under consent items be received as presented. Item A, minutes of the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Committee of March 27, 2018. B, minutes of the Township of Russell Public Library Board, March 22, 2018. C, minutes of the Marionville Citizens Committee, November 28, 2017. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Brisson, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 11, the reports from departments and council committees. Item A, council and members of committees remuneration and expenses bylaw report FS 21-2018. That council receive report FS 21-2018 dated June 4th, 2018 and adopt the proposed bylaw. And that council approves a salary increase effective on January 1st, 2019 for council members to offset the impact of the additional tax as presented in option B of Appendix B. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? Monsieur Godin.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Maire. Bonsoir, chers membres du Conseil. So essentially, this report is following some changes that were brought forth from the federal government. We had some discussions before about the fact that a third of the members of councils and mayors' salaries is exempt from taxation, from income tax. That rule or that legislation is being canceled as of January 1st, 2019. So if we take a look at Schedule B, what we're presenting is kind of an analysis we've done of two options. Option one being status quo. If we don't touch the councillors' salaries, what the impact will be on members of council's net pay, and also what the impact would be on the township's budget. And option two being an increase in salary for the mayor and for members of council to compensate for that change in legislation. So basically, this report here, we're bringing a change and we're proposing to adopt option two, which would increase mayors and members of council salaries as of January 1st to kind of eliminate that impact on the net pay. Essentially, it's going to have a total financial impact on the township's budget of $20,000. But it's going to keep your net pay the same.
Right, so essentially the take-home pay of counselors will be exactly the same as it is now. It's just the difference, the increase is to offset the taxation now imposed by the federal government.
That's correct.
Questions, comments, members of council? Nope. Perfect, we'll move on to the next item. Item B, Russell Transpo Report EcoDev 02-2018. That council approves the report EcoDev 02-2018 dated June 4, 2018. That council approves the following recommendations. 1, contract extension of 3 years from July 2018 until June 2021 with 417 bus line for 4 routes equivalent to 856 kilometers at a variable rate of $1 per liter at the following rates. Year 1, $616,727.84. Year 2, $619,727.84. And year 3, $622,727.84. 2, implementation of express service for 2 routes and elimination of low-performing stops, and that such changes take effect July 3rd, 2018. 3, eliminate free Wi-Fi, increase fare by $3 for the regular and student monthly passes, and that such changes be effective as of July 3rd, 2018. 4, promote the transit service as described in Appendix A of this report, and that council approves the final transit feasibility report as submitted, prepared by Steer Davies Gleaves. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Saucier.
I was just a little concerned about the elimination of the Wi-Fi because that seemed to be attractive to most riders, and we're trying to increase ridership, so that was one thing that I had a concern about.
Madame Tremblay.
Good evening. So I have a presentation, so I'll, maybe if it's okay with you, Mr. Mayor, I would like to go over the presentation. But in the presentation, maybe I'll touch on the Wi-Fi, so maybe you'll have your answer.
Parfait. Vas-y, Madame Tremblay.
So basically, as you mentioned, this is basically our recommendation based on what we have seen in the public meeting and throughout the transit feasibility study that was done. So basically, we've had the discussion with members of council at a couple of last meetings, and you've asked us to provide some answers. So I hope that all the answers that you were looking for are in the report that was submitted. So the positive effects that we see on the providing the service of the Russell Transpo is that, first of all, our documents that we have in the council adopted official plan, transportation master plan, the strategy plan adopted by council are documents that promote the public transportation. As stated in the master plan, it mitigates the congestion. So basically, our road network of the township is anticipated to experience increased traffic volume during peak hours due to the population and employment growth. Expanding transit use for commuters traveling to Ottawa will be crucially helping to mitigate the congestion. It also encouraged people to move here. So I know that it was brought up a couple of time ago that it would be nice to quantify the number of people that are moving here. So obviously it's not one of the only reasons why people are moving here, but we heard it a lot at the public meeting. So I think it's important to consider. make Russell Township a better place to live. So as you know, Money Sense ranked us the third place to, best place to live in Ontario, one of the
23rd.
23rd, but the third place to live in Ontario.
Sorry, yes.
So basically, one of the criteria that was looked at and evaluated as part of the rate that was given to us is the fact that we had public transport. Cost saving for households, so basically, we're saving on parking, fuel, insurance fees. Municipal contribution, so as mentioned also in the report that was provided by the consultant, the household is paying $16 per year per house. The increase of mobility, so we offer independent mobility and freedom to non-driver or those without cars. We support the environmental objectives, so basically local air quality, lower emission for person from a bus. Support also to encourage local shopping, so as we know, passengers tend to shop more locally since the bus bring them back in the township and they're not shopping in Ottawa after that they're done working in Ottawa. So those are the positive effect that we've identified and also that was brought up at the public meeting.
Conseiller Larin?
Sorry, I see that you have municipal contribution of $16 per household. Now, if I'm wrong, Monsieur Godin, please correct me, but if I take the 2000, and I know this was 2017, but if I take 2018 numbers, a 1% tax increase this year for the average household, which I think was around $343,000 value, 1% equaled $12, did it not?
I'll verify that for you.
So I'm just trying to equate this $16 per household number with
A percentage?
the actual percentage of taxes that this covers per year.
What I can tell you right now is that the municipal contribution for transit, right, today or this year was just over $100,000, so, which would equivalent to about 1% tax increase.
Right, but 1% isn't $16 a
12
household.
You're saying it would be 12, right?
Well, I'm suggesting that that's what the number was that you had provided to us. So I'm just trying to reconcile a $16 per household justification as a positive effect. Because using 2017 numbers, then that $12 per household would actually be less for 1%. Call it $10.
Yeah, so just to come back to your original question, so in this year's presentation, we did present $16 as the 1% increase.
$16 as
16
1%
As
increase?
1%. So we presented a $24 increase, which was for 1.5.
1.5,
So it
okay.
would be 16 for one,
so,
just to validate Dominique's numbers.
okay. So basically, the positive effect that we're saying is that a 1% tax increase is justifiable for $16 per household. Okay.
So it was also asked at the last meeting to compare if the township was to offer the service compared to private services. So basically, after speaking with the owner of the bus-provided service, we've wanted to mention the points that would be different if the service would be private compared to service from the public. So the fare price, for example, for us, the annual fare price is increasing at a small fare increase every year. Since it's been a while since the fee did not increase, but we're controlling the fare of the pass. Compared to privately owned, the services would increase to $30 to $40 per month. The funding, as you know, because it's a municipal service, we receive gas tax, and if it was private, it would not be eligible. Long-term growth with response to the current and future needs. So obviously, we adjust the service as subdivision will be moving on, and the services would respond to the need of the growth. Basically, on the private side, it would be a minimal service, so basically would not consider all the growth and would be a service, the decrease of the service and no Wi-Fi, fewer trips and stuff like that. And since we're not asking to remove the Wi-Fi also, yes.
Conseiller Larin?
Sorry to keep interrupting, but I have to ask my question now or I'll forget it.
Yeah.
So on two fronts, the first one is ridership. Higher ridership following, no, sorry, that's not where my question is. So long-term growth, will respond to current and future needs under the township's contract, and under private may not respond to current or future needs. But what it doesn't say there is at a cost. Right? So that's gonna, if we need to change something because there's different needs, well, there's a cost associated. Well, the same on the private side, there would be a cost associated for them to meet those needs. So, to me, I don't see how one is better than the other when, just because we have a contract, the fact is, if there's any changes, we still have to pay. Which means increased cost to the taxpayer.
It was basically more on the fact that we are not maybe taking into consideration the cost that would come with it, but we're more open to changes based on the fact that we hear what people have to say. And
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
So that's where more the comment was to accommodate the future growth. And I understand your point that, yes, there's a financial cost associated to taking into consideration those comments, but it was more like on a growth perspective comment.
Oh, yeah. I'll put more buses on the road, but it's gonna cost you 100, whatever that number is, X amount more dollars to go in. Yeah, we'll put another bus on the road, whatever your needs are. Right? I'm just saying to me, I don't see that as a benefit just because you have a contract. Because the fact is, we're gonna have to pay one way or the other. So,
I think as well is that the private side may not respond to current or future needs, while if it's his private business and he wants to keep the business viable, he'll invest in his business as well to keep his clients happy,
right.
especially since it's a service-oriented.
My second comment was on the service. So who's paying the Wi-Fi right now?
So initially we had a
Grant,
and now the township is paying for Wi-Fi.
okay. And what has been the feedback from the people that actually take the bus regarding the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so technically that's one of their recommendations, to remove the Wi-Fi, because it's costing us $12,000 a year, and most of the time it doesn't work. So that's the feedback that we have. So basically, based on the feedbacks and based on the fact that it's not providing us, it's been there since August of last year. We didn't see any increase in ridership. And that was the purpose of why we wanted to try it as part of the grant that we received, without seeing any result of increase of ridership. That's why we're suggesting in our recommendation to reduce the municipal contribution is one of the suggestion is to remove the Wi-Fi.
And we didn't increase the fares based on the Wi-Fi service, correct?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
And that-
you're correct. No, we didn't.
Conseiller Brisson?
Ouais, juste mentionner aussi que j'ai eu le commentaire d'un conducteur d'autobus qui l'a demandé directement, parce que j'y avais demandé la question. Puis quand que les passagers ont su que c'était comme 10 à 12 000 $ par année, puis il a dit la plupart qui ont des plans de data, ils ont dit pour 12 000 $, il a dit pour le peu de temps qu'on l'utilise, il aime mieux. Il a dit c'est incommode, mais pour 12 000, la plupart disaient qu'il n'y avait pas de problème de l'enlever.
Merci beaucoup. Did you have a follow-up?
Oh, I believe there's signs on all the buses that have free Wi-Fi. Is that going to be a cost to us to remove those, whether they're stickers or paint or whatever?
No.
Okay.
You made one comment saying often it doesn't work. So I'm wondering, are we gonna credit from the company for this?
So we get a credit for the weekends that we're not using it, and when it's not working, yes, we get the credit.
Okay, just to make sure. Perfect. Thank you. Peut continuer, Madame Tremblay.
So also it has been asked to the department of what the initiative that was done to increase the ridership in the last couple of years. So this is to bring to council's attention what has been done. So we've, in 2017, we had promo cards distributed to all households in the Township of Russell. Obviously, the free Wi-Fi that we try to attempt to increase ridership by getting the grant to install the Wi-Fi, offer the Wi-Fi free to our users. We have signs that were installed on St. Guillaume and Craig to promote the service that was done in August of 2017. We also had an open house to celebrate the improvement of the services, to help people to know that they were free Wi-Fi and also get the text messages for register online. And also continuous posts on social media that is done frequently to promote our service and make sure that we have users increase in clients.
Okay.
So this is, I know, I've tried to minimize the information, but as you've seen in the report that was submitted, the Annex A, Appendix A, there was a lot more numbers, but I wanted council to see the questions that you've asked, basically what was the municipal contribution since the service that was offered. Yes, there was different numbers that were that are shown here, so it varies from 26,000 to 108,000. So for council information, I just want to go over of those big numbers that are really different in municipal contribution. So for example, in 2008, yes, we see the contribution that was done, it was 36,000, but the reason for that is that the service was just effective for 2 months. So this amount represents just November and December, so that's why it was so much lower. And the 26,000 in 2015, that you could see, basically the fare was increased in April of that year. So there was $12 that were increased for booklets and $8 that were increased for monthly passes. That was the last time that we increased our fees. And the ridership was the highest, and therefore the revenues were also highest, and our expense were reduced, and there was additional sponsorship, so that's why the amount was a lot lower in 2015. We try to compare apples to apples, but it's kind of difficult because the number of salaries, for example, were different between years and years. Sometimes it was 4% of staff salary compared to 13%, and depending on who was in position, the percentage of salary did differ between years and years. But in the appendix, you have all the details of the information. For example, in 2017, the big difference of the 108 that you see for the municipal contribution is related to the transit feasibility study that costed $27,000 to the township. The Wi-Fi for that year, because it was not a full year, was $2,500, and there was a decrease in ridership, so that's why the amount of the municipal contribution for 2008 was a lot higher. Also, we need to consider the gas. So obviously, as you've seen in the contract that we have right now, it's a fixed fee plus 95 cents for gas. So everything above that 95 cents, we have to pay the difference for the number of kilometers that the buses are traveling. So therefore, again, in the appendix, you could see that the fuel expense for years, like let's say in 2014, the total amount over above the contract fixed fee that we had was $33,000. So it varies depending on the cost of the fuel. So, for example, the gas in 2017 was $14,000. And in 2017, for the months that we have registered now, we're already at $11,000.
Okay. Question in regards to your previous slide, you showed all the initiatives that were done in 2017. And when you look at the next slide, essentially what I see is there is 9 passes increase. So the return on our investment of all these initiatives only resulted in an extra 9 people using the service, or 9, on average, 9 monthly passes being used. That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Ray?
I have a question for Monsieur Leduc, and I don't know if it's for Madame Tremblay as well, but what benefit to the township is there in there to have a fixed gas rate? We see no benefit to it. We put a number in, and the proponent, whoever runs the service, they get a fixed rate. If it's below the fixed rate, they keep that money, but if it's above, they take the tax dollars. What's the use of having a fixed rate? Now I have, and I'll let you answer in a second, but I have no problem increasing the rate. for the next 3 years, but tell me that we share in the actual benefit. When it's over and above, we pay the extra. When it's under, we get credit. I mean, I think that's only fair. I mean, this is a relationship here that we have with this company to provide services to our residents using tax dollars. I don't know how I sit here and justify the fact that I'm guaranteeing 100% of the gas rate and not getting any benefit underneath whatever the number is. So let's use the 95 cents for an example. There were times where we were under the 95 cents. I think it was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Where most of that year we were under 95 cents. We didn't get a credit for that. But every time we're over 95 cents, boom, there's a big bill at the end of the year. So, again, why is it even there?
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Tremblay?
Monsieur le Madame du Conseil, I'm just trying to give my 2 cents because Mrs. Tremblay is more well versed on the contract itself, but this is an original contract that dates back to 2008. We've always been extending it, never really outsourcing it to an RFP to see will that clause change today or not. So, as we have not renewed the contract fully, that's why it's been there since that day. Maybe that was good when we had a 89 cents a liter gas, or 94 or 93, but today's reality is no longer at 95, that's for sure. So from my end, the reason for that is that it's the original contract that's been transferred to an owner, to an owner, to an owner, which we've just been renewing and renewing and renewing. So that's my angle to it, and maybe Mrs. Tremblay can add to my comments.
Vas-y, Madame Tremblay.
So, Monsieur Leduc is right that the contract is, I don't want to say old, but it
been
needs to be
extended.
renewed. So that's why, as part of the recommendation, we're asking council at the next council meeting if we agree on principle tonight on what's being proposed to bring back a contract that would be renewed with new clauses that would reflect the not 95 cents, but the $1. We had discussion with the owner of the company, based on the information that we had from Rockland. Rockland has a monthly fee, including gas, not variable amount of gas that are included. However, after further research, we found out that the contractor, as part of his contract, could go back to the city and ask them to pay the difference if he paid too much based on the fee that they agreed at the beginning of the year. For what I understand, it's a common practice. Also, a discussion that we had with the consultant regarding the contract that was given to us, is that the price that we're paying is in the middle range of all the contract that they've seen provided on the service that we are provided. It's not something that we're paying too much for the contract and the service that we are provided compared to other contractor. So without knowing what's being done elsewhere, we've asked for the consultant that are seeing more of those contracts, and they told us that we're paying for what we're getting.
Conseiller Lorrain?
So Monsieur Leduc made a good point earlier, and he said it's just a contract that's been flipped time and time again where we just keep renewing. When does this contract end?
June 30th.
How long does an RFP take?
It
I'll
will
ask
be-
that's Monsieur Leduc, or either one can answer, but
Well, I'm sure to write it and to issue it and receive a sponsor, you're at least looking at 3 months, 3 to 5 months before we get back with this.
so
That's my take on it.
So meaning if we don't sign an extension, whether it's 1 year or 3 years, on the 18th, we're left without service if we want to go back to tender, which means we continuously do this where we come at the last minute, and now we have to do something that we may not want to do, right? Or make changes that we want to make because we keep extending this contract. I see no benefit to going from 95 cents to $1. I see none in the contract. It's at $1.35 in Ottawa. It's at $1.25 here. It's at $1.50 elsewhere. Like, what's $1 going to do for us? Nothing. So I don't understand why we're even looking at as a as a benefit to the township in negotiations. Like, I don't see it.
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Tremblay?
Well, one of the realities that we're facing with the service is that we're depending on also on the City of Ottawa services. And at this point, what does the OC Transpo or the GO Train service look like in November is one thing. What's going to be allowable? Will it be there then? I mean, they're yet to finalize a lot of elements of that service. So it's hard for us to try to draft an RFP which would include all these things when we don't know yet what this all means to us. So.
Madame Tremblay?
I just wanted to maybe answer Monsieur Lorrain's comment in a sense that, yes, it's kind of last minute for the contract part of it, but it's not last minute because we've been seeing this since September of last year with the transit feasibility study. So it's been ongoing for the last 6 months of public meeting and hearing what people that are using the service would like to see. And I think that's what we're providing today is here, we heard what they had to say, and we're here to kind of agree on what the service is right now. The new contract will be renewed with new clauses that are not going to be the same as what you've seen in 2008 to reflect as today's reality. But I think it's not last minute in the sense that we've been working on this for the last 6 months.
Can I go to tender without an interruption of service?
You won't, no.
Okay,
You won't.
that's what I mean. The next question I have, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Leduc, is there a provision in there if the province cuts the gas tax?
Madame Tremblay?
So the good news is that they're not going to cut the gas tax. It's going to double in by 2021.
Let's just be
Let's, it all depends on who's sitting at the head of the table in the provincial election that's coming up. And if we happen to sit there and go, somebody decides they're going to cut, whoever is in power, all of a sudden decides that they're going to cut the gas tax instead of increase the gas tax or maintain it. Where's the protection for the taxpayer, if there is one? And I'm hearing that there isn't one. Is that accurate?
Monsieur Leduc, Madame Tremblay, there's no provision in there to protect the township in case gas tax funding gets cut,
No.
Okay.
so that would be something to look at, definitely. Okay, other questions? We can keep going with the presentation?
Yep.
Continuez, Madame Tremblay.
At the bottom of the graph, you could see the Russell monthly passes average. So basically, those are adult and student passes. So you could see the tendency of the last couple of years. As you can see in 2018, we see a bit of increase compared to 2017, which is the good news. So the proposed initiatives that you've seen in the report and in the annexes that were presented as part of the report, and the initiative that were already put in place 2 years ago to increase ridership, since those were not considered basically successful as we hoped, we recommend to concentrate on reducing the municipal contribution instead of focusing only on increasing ridership. So what is being in the proposal right now is that we are proposing to have a contract extension of 3 years from July 2018 until June 2021 with the company 417 bus line with the 4 routes equivalent to 856 kilometers at a variable rate of $1 per liter at the following rate. So basically you see the amounts here for the years to come.
Can we just, sorry, just want to clarify. We're getting a better rate than that's at the pump currently, correct? Like if it says $1.30 at the gas pump of the gas stations, just, because anybody who's looking at this saying, well, $1 a liter, that doesn't make sense because it's already $1.30, but we are getting a better rate than it is at the normal pumps currently. Or are we paying?
No, so we pay the extra. So it's so if let's
Ben,
say
c'est ça, je veux dire, comme s'ils vendent à Coop à côté 1,30 $, là, on paye-tu 1,30 $?
on paye le 30 sous de
Oui, mais ça, je veux dire, so, la compagnie comme telle doesn't have a bulk rate on gas?
I'm not sure. I could ask.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
No,
sure.
I would just assume that there would be a bulk rate somewhere and we're not paying the sticker price. We're paying wholesale instead of retail is what I'm asking.
C'est diesel,
Okay.
puis I don't think that we have a bulk price, but I could check.
Well, not us.
No, but
Contract.
the we, in a sense, the company and us, that with the
Is-
service we're providing.
No, but I guess, sorry. We're not asking if we have the bulk
No,
rate.
but I'm.
If the company has it for all of their vehicles, they've got a fleet of vehicles that they have to fuel up, they have many contracts. It's whether or not the company has a bulk rate that could then be incorporated into the contract, right? Because if they're getting it at $1.20, retail is $1.30, what are we paying? Are we paying $1.20 or are we paying $1.30?
I will have to verify the information. I'm not
Thank
aware.
you.
Parfait, merci.
So basically, as you see the amount that are being proposed for the years, it's year one, year two, year three. One of the reason that we're suggesting to council to go with a 3-year contract is basically that the first year, if we were to renew just 1 year, would be the same as the third year of this one. So we're getting a rebate basically because we're signing 3 years instead of 1 year.
OK, merci. Monsieur Leduc, un commentaire?
Oui, M. le maire. Donc, retourner à une question qui a été soulevée tantôt. Vous avez dit, ridership, seulement 9 nouveaux riders. Mais je fais le calcul, c'est 245 par mois. Donc, par année, chaque rider, c'est environ 3 000 2 952.
Mhm.
Fois 9, c'est quand même 26 568 Donc, peut-être ça semble des petits chiffres, mais là, on n'a pas des bosses non plus de 150 places. Là.
Non, non.
Donc, c'est dans ce sens-là que je vais juste souligner au public, au conseil, que 9 riders de plus, c'est quand même pas un gros chiffre, mais il y a quand même une importance significative en valeur monétaire pour le budget.
Définitivement. Puis moi, ma comparaison, c'est sur les initiatives, combien de ce 26 000 a été dépensé. Si on a dépensé 25 000 pour faire 26 000, bien, peut-être que ce pas nécessairement un bon retour sur l'investissement. Si on a dépensé 3 000 piastres sur les initiatives, puis on, tu sais, what did we get back in return for the investment we did? That was the only comparison I was doing. Mais merci pour clarifier, M. Leduc. Conseiller Brisson.
Juste un commentaire aussi que qu'est-ce que j'aime du fait de mettre pour 3 ans, que je supporte de choses, ça met de la stabilité dans le système. Un peu comme le commentaire que à la dernière réunion, la personne avait fait. Comment ça coûte de ne pas avoir de stabilité, qu'il y en a qui ne vont pas le prendre parce qu'ils ne savent jamais si dans 6 mois, ils n'auront plus de service. Fait que là, si on signe pour 3 ans, bien, ils savent, au moins, on est garanti 3 ans qu'on a un service, qu'on n'a pas besoin de regarder pour d'autres parkings et tout ça. Fait que moi, je suis bien content de voir que c'est pour 3 ans. Là.
OK, merci beaucoup. Vous pouvez continuer, Mme Tremblay.
Comme M. André a mentionné, donc c'est très important ce que vous avez mentionné comme point, puis c'est quelque chose aussi qu'on a identifié dans l'annexe qui démontre que, oui, le fait qu'on va avoir une stabilité au niveau du contrat va probablement nous aider à recruter des gens qui vont utiliser l'autobus. L'incertitude fait souvent que des gens ne vont pas s'engager à commencer une nouvelle routine s'ils ne savent pas que ça ne va pas être un service qui va être donné pour une plus longue période de temps. So we heard a lot during the public meeting and during the survey that was produced by the consultant that 23% of the respondents said that they were not using the service because the travel time was too long. So one of our suggestions is to, in order to increase the ridership, is to reduce that time frame of traveling time. So we want to implement express buses. So the affected routes for those would be for AM option 3 and 4 and for PM options 1 and 2. Reduce travel time, remove some of the low-performing stop that was held to address pedestrian and safety issues. So there's been a lot of comments that from, for example, the bus on Centenaire that goes along and there's no sidewalks, that it's dangerous. So we are proposing to remove that stop, again, to increase the time of traveling and also to make sure that everybody is safe. So the bus, instead of going on Centenaire, for example, would travel on Notre Dame on the main street where there's sidewalks. So the third change that we're asking is, or proposing is, again, like we've mentioned, is eliminate the free Wi-Fi. So that would start in June 30th because our contract is until June 30th, and we're saving $12,000 annually as an expense. One of the reason why we've talked about it, but it's a service that we're providing, and one of the reason why we've tried it at the beginning is that we had the grant, and second of all, we wanted to make sure if it was a small service that could be provided to increase the ridership, that we didn't really see, but that's why we're suggesting to save that $12,000 and remove the Wi-Fi service. We're proposing a fare increase for monthly passes. So for regular passes and student passes, $3 each. As you can see also in the appendix, the last time that the passes were increased, I don't know the amount, but I think it was in April of 15. So it's been since 2015 that the fare didn't increase, so that's why we're suggesting to increase passes and booklet and student passes at $3 each.
Conseiller Lorrain?
Yeah, just regarding the next point, you're talking about modification of
time
scheduled
schedule.
times. How much advance notice are we planning on giving our riders so that they can make alternate arrangements if the times don't suit them, or to have people look at jumping on the bus if the time does suit them?
So that's a good question. This report with the proposed schedule was sent prior to the meeting to all our users. Basically, the time change would be implemented in July 3rd, so just the beginning of July. The options that are proposed tonight are basically based on the survey, the result of the survey. So we had buses that were just 10 minutes apart, so we try to extend those and accommodate more the time shift of the people working downtown and getting back into Ambram. So instead of having them 10 minutes apart, we try to split them at 20 minutes apart. And also, to answer your question, we have the text services, so they could also get text messages to know when the bus is on time versus the bus is 10 minutes or 12 minutes late.
Conseiller Lorrain?
Do you know how many of the 140 riders have subscribed to the text service?
156.
So there's some of that have the monthly or the tickets and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other suggestion that
Attends,
we're
excuse.
making to review, oops, sorry.
Conseiller Brisson?
Je voyais que justement qu'il suggérait de remonter un peu la passe régulière, puis même éventuellement de le mettre plus régulier au lieu d'un coup. Mais je voyais dans une des recommandations qui mentionnait aussi que l'étiquette One Way puis les booklets, il y avait eu un genre de commentaire qui était cher comparé à nos passes monthly. Est-ce que c'était de quoi qui avait été considéré à leur baisser un peu pour les encourager à aller monthly, pour que le monde puisse l'utiliser, ou si on le reste au même montant?
Les autres passes, on les a laissés les mêmes montants.
C'est qu'il y avait ce commentaire-là dans
Oui,
le
c'est ça.
rapport.
On les a pas diminués, non.
Que c'était vous.
Continue.
The other suggestion that we're making is to review the service provided during the statutory holidays. So right now, we don't have any special service that is provided during those statutory holiday, but most of the buses are are empty. So basically, we're recommending to reduce the level of service on statutory holiday that would affect the amount on the contract of about $1,000.
Conseiller Lorrain?
So there's a few things that we need to keep into consideration for stat holidays. Is that not all, and I would assume a lot of our riders are government employees. The August long weekend is not a stat holiday for them, neither is Family Day. So we need to make sure that we're not cutting a service for people that absolutely still need that service during those days.
Yeah, and we'll take in consideration that comment, and we're not talking about cutting the service completely, but it's just the level of service. So instead of having four full route, we'll probably have just two.
OK, merci. Quand on parle... Ah, tu mets les temps, c'est beau.
So this is a proposed schedule that we're looking at. So as you saw in the schedule that was attached to the report, initially we were, le trajet avait 876 km. On a enlevé du kilométrage qui fait qu'il réduit le temps de voyagement pour les utilisateurs. Donc maintenant, avec 856 km, les changements qui sont implantés dans la nouvelle proposition de la nouvelle horaire. Juste pour vous mentionner les chiffres qu'on a mis en parenthèse en rouge, donc the numbers that are identified in red in the chart is basically to show you the amount of people on an average that were showing up at those bus stops. So those are the reason that not even 2 passengers per day were at those bus stops. That's why we're kind of justifying to remove those stops to meet the need of accelerating the travel time. As mentioned earlier, we're proposing to remove the Centenaire La Prairie to help the pedestrian safety issue that was brought up many, many times by the riders and by the non-riders. Average monthly ridership, so is indicated in red, like I just mentioned. Option 3 and 4 in the AM and option 2 in PM need to use Saint-Pierre instead of Saint-Guillaume because the coach buses have a hard time to turning at the Vars Park and Ride. The survey results suggested that the trip time could increase ridership, so that's what we've done to split a bit the routes in between options. And the daily ridership statistic we're taking into consideration while preparing those proposed schedules. So basically, we took the routes that were the most used and the stops that were most used, we didn't touch. Basically, we removed some that were not used and we removed the options. For example, in the afternoon, option 1 and 2, if you were taking option 1, you'll end up at option 2 ending at the same time as before. So it's minimal changes that will increase and respond to the need of the users that did the survey.
So just, how much time are we looking for users to save on their trip?
About 20 minutes,
20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night,
yeah, if you take the express.
if you take the express.
Yeah. So the promotional program, so as you know, to increase ridership and introduce, we're trying, we will try, I would say, to give 50 voucher free for this summer for people that are not using the bus to try to use it and see maybe it could come out that people would love it and they would buy monthly passes afterwards. So we're gonna issue those voucher to non-user for the moment for during the summer and would be valid for 1 week so they could try our service. So that would be a new way to try to inciter les gens à venir puis essayer les autobus. The other program consists of working with the developer and real estate company to locate in the Township of Russell to ensure that new potential residents know about our service. So we've been talking with some of the developer in the Ambram and Russell to make sure that they have the schedule and the information about the buses in their model home, for example, so people that visit would see that they have the service to offer, and we would do the same with the real estate agents. And the last one is the bus wrapping program. I had discussion with people from OC Transpo. They will send us a bylaw that will be presented to council to maybe review our sponsorship costs. So right now we have 2 buses that are, the back is wrapped with a company that builds in the Township of Russell, but we would looking to be pushing for more bus wrapping as a full so we could get more money for sponsorship. And as you remember, in the years of the municipal contribution where we had more sponsorship, the contribution was a lot lower, so that would be a way to decrease the municipal contribution. So based on all that, what we've prepared, because we've been asked, is to see how this would affect the municipal contribution moving forward. So we've took, for example, the municipal contribution, which was the highest in 2017. We removed the transit study because it's completed and see if this would not be affected our municipal contribution, what it would consist of. Remove the Wi-Fi that we discussed, increase the fare price of $3 based on the ridership that we have at the moment, increase the sponsorship revenue as we discussed, We've took into consideration that based on all those action that we would get 5 rider extra. So those are the extra revenues that you see. Reduction in fuel expense, that we don't know because it's the variable that we are not seeing at the moment, because it varies from time to time based on the fuel expense and the contract. So based on all of that, based on the contract that we had back then in 2018, we are looking at our municipal contribution of 40 to 50,000, depending on how many ridership we would get. I'll re-say that what we heard is, I've been reading a lot of report from the City of Ottawa that is using also the fact that the provincial announcement to double the gas tax, we didn't take into consideration based on the amount of the municipal contribution that is prepared in this report, but just to take into consideration that it would double for what they say. If we get to what's being proposed, is that we would get to municipal gas tax of 305,000 based on the average of the last couple of years by 2021, which would again lower the municipal contribution.
Conseiller Lorrain?
I just, again, want to caution administration on that piece because that was a proposition by the Liberal government in their budget process. We all see what's going on in the province today, and there will be a new leadership, whether it's a minority or a majority for one of the other parties, which means that we cannot count on the additional gas tax funding, let alone any gas tax funding going forward. So we need to ensure that any contract that we sign has some sort of protection and provision for the township. Otherwise, I don't know how we sign a contract.
Madame Tremblay?
So I just want to reinstate that the amount that we're showing between 40 and 50 doesn't take into account any increase in the gas provincial tax.
Just the current,
Just the current that we receive, about 149,000.
right.
It's already included in the municipal contribution amount, but we didn't take into consideration any other increase than what's being proposed or the announcement that is being made.
Right. Okay. Conseiller Brisson?
Juste une question. Juste qu'elle mentionnait que le Wi-Fi, c'était 12 000 que le monde utilisait un petit peu, mais le service, justement, de notification, ces choses-là, il y a un coût à ça aussi. Est-ce que celui-là est justifié et de combien que c'était à cette heure qu'a pu Grant?
Madame Tremblay?
Donc, à travers vous, Monsieur le maire, le montant n'a pas été... On utilise beaucoup les textes pour soit même des messages de retard ou même des messages comme ce soir, on a annoncé par texte à nos utilisateurs qu'il y avait une réunion. Donc, on l'utilise pour différentes fonctions. C'est 200 $ par mois, donc c'est très minimal. C'est pour ça qu'on a considéré de le laisser
C'est
dans
juste
le budget.
Justement, s'il y avait la question de savoir de quel montant. Merci.
Alors, qu'est-ce que je vois ici, Madame Tremblay, essentiellement, c'est... Tu coupes le budget 2018-2019 à peu près à moitié comparé à 2017. C'est une bonne chose. Conseiller Lorrain?
You're cutting the
To me.
2018 contribution in half, or the 2019 contribution in half?
I would say 2019.
Okay, I just wanted to correct the statement.
Yep.
Okay, so that estimated, so that 2018 where it says there should be corrected.
But there's changes coming in July
Yeah.
that would have an effect on this year's
So
budget.
it should drop a bit.
Madame Tremblay?
Yeah, so you'll see a difference in, as you saw, the increase in ridership as for now, but there's also the gas that for 2018 until now, we spent already $11,000
Over and above the contract.
above the contract.
Right.
And the study is still in effect, right? Because we're still paying the study for the other half.
Right, so that's,
So the 2008, you'll see minimal changes as what's being proposed, but the 2009 and 19
Right.
will
that's what I'm saying. The 2018 budget will not necessarily be reduced. When we look at that number, we're paying $100,000 contribution approximately in the budget.
as approved, yeah.
And now we know that it's going to be probably about another $22,000 to $25,000 extra to that number based on the increase in gas. Because we're already at 11,000 over and above that number.
Monsieur Leduc?
The only thing that could, Mr. Mayor, Members of Council, the only thing that could happen here that could help us would be that, for example, the Public Works Department has a rate, it's called a rack, a RAP rate, where it's set daily. If we were able to put that into the contract, so instead of seeing the 123 or else, for example, right now, what they pay is about 112 a day. So if that was to happen, then those numbers regarding cost of servicing will go down. So they could have an impact this year if we're able to negotiate that
Appreciate that.
clause.
Okay, merci. Conseiller Lorrain?
Well, I think we need to do something because the number in the contract today is useless, like I stated, right? I mean, it's there for cost certainty for the owner of the company. It does nothing for us.
Madame Tremblay?
I just want to confirm, and we're just looking at the budget, the $100,000 of municipal contribution is for 685. So the extra tax is already included in the amount of budget that was approved by council. So we've budgeted for 685,000 in the budget. The contract is 623. So between 623 and 685, it's the account for the extra for gas.
Okay.
So it's already taking into account in our budget.
So it shouldn't affect the municipal contribution
No.
in the 2018 budget?
No.
Okay. D'autres questions, commentaires? Non? Continue, Madame Tremblay.
This is the last slide. So we've been talking about it for a while now, and we've heard many comments that were done based on the discussion that we had. I went to a conference a couple weeks ago, and it was from people from OC Transpo, and they've told us to see this as it's not an amount that we're saying, it's not a deficit, it's an investment. So we need to make sure that the same investment that we're making for the transit system is the same that we're doing for Marionville Community Center, the Emblem Community Hall, the Keith Boy Museum, which is the same amount as you saw in your Appendix A from other services that we are giving municipal contribution to. So we need to make sure that the services are looked at the same level of the contribution that we're making. Our residents are our clients, they're not riders. We need to take pride of the service that we offer. We have been investing on municipal infrastructure to accommodate the growth. The transit is the same form of investment, so we need to see that as an investment. There's a lot of people that need a hand to get from A to B so that they can get a job, and we are there to provide that service. The township is not only offering services that are profitable, the program gets evaluated to make sure that we offer the service as the needs are, and we make change and we involve as we need to. So as you could see, the planning, EcoDev and building department is recommending that we extend the contract. We know it's a long time before we go to RFPs and that we get a new contract with the fair market value. But I believe that this is fair market value based on the consultant's opinion. The most reason why we go for 3 years is, like we mentioned, like Monsieur Brisson mentioned, is that we offer stability, and I think it's going to give us and help us to get more clients to get on our service.
Okay. Merci beaucoup, Madame Tremblay. Conseiller Lorrain?
I believe that we're not voting on this tonight. This is just a report, and then we vote on it in the next meeting. Is that accurate?
Madame Tremblay?
There's we will get back with the contract at the next council meeting, but the recommendation is to get with the 3-year contract tonight.
Well, how can I approve a 3-year contract without seeing it?
It's the principle of the 3-year that we're asking, and all the changes that comes with it. The contract is just going to reflect the amount that we're talking tonight, and so
Right.
it's.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Zick, I can't approve a 3-year contract tonight with all these changes without knowing that my taxpayer is protected. So I need to see the contract with the new information that it's all been in writing. 'Cause it's great for us to pass a resolution here, and then we come back and we weren't able to get any changes to it. And then what happens? We get a resolution council that says move forward. So I'm a little skeptical right now to be able to do that tonight. And in fact, Mr. Mayor, if you'd allow me, I'd like to just make the comment that if there are any users of our service that have any questions, comments, or concerns, that they email council to let us know what their comments are regarding that. Because I can tell you, I haven't heard a single comment from any one of the 156 users that we have regarding any changes to this service. So, pardon me? Well, it's good or it's bad, right? It's good if they're happy, but if they're not happy and they haven't, or for some reason they're oblivious to what's going on, then all of a sudden these changes happen, and then we are going to hear it for sure. So I would like to hear from people beforehand, before the 18th, so that we can make a very sound decision.
So, Madame Cameron-Laflamme, we'll separate this item, and we'll deal with it separately. I anticipate that we will just bring it back at the next meeting, but it'll give you time to finalize the fine details that council is looking to see. But, Councillor Saucier.
Just a brief comment, but we did have 2 public presentations for the public to come and make comment. So I just wanted to add that.
Madame Tremblay, Monsieur Leduc.
Well, I guess what we're looking for right now is direction on these other changes so that we know what to incorporate into the contract. We've heard all of your questions tonight. There are more there. I guess we're looking for direction regarding the express route changes and the elimination of Wi-Fi's and the rate increases.
Okay.
So that's kind of,
So,
yeah.
so I'll.
Obviously, if we get the direction to proceed in that and to address these concerns in this report into the contract discussions and looking at we'd like to know more about the 1 or 3 year contract. Not saying you approve it tonight, but give us a direction as to what to work on. I think we can live with that, but we need a direction somewhat to say how to proceed.
Parfait, merci, Monsieur
Now,
Leduc.
If, members of council, if you're looking at discussing the contract itself at a direction, you can do that in closed session so that we have clear direction. Because now we're talking about contract negotiations, which is a situation where you can go into a closed session to discuss, to protect our position.
Okay, merci beaucoup, Monsieur Leduc. I'll go first. For what's presented here, I think, eliminate the Wi-Fi, the increase of $3, the 3-year contract, because it's such a minimal amount between year 1, 2, and 3. I'm fine with those changes. The express routes I'm fine with. But some of the questions that we have asked, I would like to see, the clause for gas tax. If there's a elimination of gas tax funding at the provincial level, then definitely I want to make sure we have an out clause to protect the township. Councillor Lorraine had some suggestions as well. I'm not sure if there's anything else specific to what we've already mentioned, but I think the general direction is pretty much what you're asking for. We just want to see the final contract before we approve it completely. Conseiller Brisson?
C'est un peu ça que je m'en ai dit, que ces points-là, de l'accepter, je ne sais pas s'il faut mettre une clause que tout de bien que le contrat final de l'autobus soit approuvé au prochain meeting, mais qu'on accepte en principe ces recommandations-là. Moi, c'est ça, il n'y aurait pas de problème. J'avais juste une autre question aussi, Mme Tremblay. Quand il a parlé qu'il voulait donner 50 vouchers, avez-vous pensé à comment que c'était quoi le programme? Est-ce que c'est à des nouveaux arrivants? Est-ce que c'est un tirage? Comment que ça marche? Est-ce que c'est-tu à 9 personnes? Il me semble que j'ai entendu 9 personnes. Ou c'est à 50 personnes? Comment que ça marche exactement? Ou s'il n'y a pas de détails encore?
Bien, de ce qu'on avait pensé initialement, c'est que c'est les gens qui n'utilisent pas l'autobus en ce moment qui viendraient demander d'avoir une passe gratuite pour un mois, pour une semaine. Puis on en aurait un maximum de 50, justement, pour ne pas engorger les autobus déjà des gens qui l'utilisent. Donc, c'est une passe d'une semaine.
C'est-tu 50 passes pour une semaine ou
Mhm.
c'est
C'est
des...
50 passes pour une semaine,
OK.
à 50 personnes différentes.
Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? Non? Alors, comprenez la direction? Si tu veux qu'on approuve ça quand même, ou on va être obligé de le tweaker si on approuve ça à soir? Madame Tremblay?
Just to make sure that I understand correctly, the contract would be stipulated for 3 years?
Yeah.
So or do I prepare 2 contracts, 2 years, 1 year,
No.
or?
I'm fine with the 3 years.
Yeah, me too.
I think everybody's fine with the 3 years. So it's just working out the other details that we've been discussing.
Perfect.
Parfait. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, item C. Bill 142, Construction Act, Report ISPW 09-2018. The council receives Report ISPW 09-2018 dated June 4th, 2018. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Brisson?
Juste clarifier, comme qu'est-ce que ça change exactement, parce que je lisais puis je voyais pas exactement qu'est-ce que ça apporte pour la municipalité, c'est quoi notre impact.
Monsieur Leduc, Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Dans le fond, j'ai tenté de garder ça aux grandes lignes, là, des changements dans l'ouest de la construction puis les impacts sur la municipalité. En gros, c'est des changements qui vont rentrer en vigueur en 2019, mais c'est les modes de paiement, les délais que la municipalité va avoir en tant que propriétaire de payer les factures sur des contrats. Puis les contracteurs qu'on engage, eux, ont un délai également pour payer leurs sous-contractants. Fait que ça, c'est un des gros changements. Le règlement de conflit aussi. S'il y a un changement qui a lieu durant le contrat, c'est prescrit, on a des temps limites pour régler ces petits problèmes-là au courant du contrat, donc de ne pas attendre à la fin du contrat pour discuter de ces changements. Ce qu'on appelle les liens ou les privilèges, en gros, on retient de l'argent pendant 45 jours lorsqu'un travaux est terminé pour s'assurer que le contracteur a payé ses sous-contractants, mais là, c'est augmenté à 60 jours. Donc, il y a un changement de 15 jours. Et aussi, ce qui est des holdbacks, ben, les montants ont changé. So, en gros, ça, c'est ce qui va toucher la municipalité. On a déjà demandé à nos avocats de faire les changements sur nos contrats, les appels d'offres, pour s'assurer que tout reflète là, les changements à la loi.
Alors, c'est vraiment à titre d'information. C'est la loi mise en place par la province, puis c'est juste savoir comment ça nous affecte. C'est ça?
Ouais, exactement.
Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? Non? Continuez. Item D. Speed reduction on Wade Road, Groves Road, and McLaren Lane. Report ISPW 10-2018. The council receives report ISPW 10-2018 dated June 4, 2018, and approve as recommended in this report the proposed bylaw amendment to traffic and parking bylaw 31-2004, so to reduce speed limits to 60 kilometers an hour on Wade Road, McLaren Lane, and Groves Road. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Brisson?
Oui, just that comme je vois pas la raison vraiment de ça, there was no big accident or nothing that complaint that come. Why would we want to drop only this road? I know it's in gravel, but there's some other gravel road. Why this one to drop it to 60 compared that it is at 80?
Je pense, d'après le rapport, ça dit pour des raisons de sécurité, c'est ça, M. Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, effectivement, une des raisons principales, c'est la sécurité. Il y a plusieurs courbes où, des fois, les accotements sont abrupts. Il y a la proximité de la rivière. Ce sont toutes des choses qu'il faut mettre en place, différentes mesures de sécurité ou mettre plus d'affiches, etc. Donc, une des façons, selon les guides qui est offert par le ministère des Transports, c'est de réduire la limite. Est-ce que ça nous permet aussi de changer la classe de la route?
D'autres questions, commentaires? Councillor Saucier?
Well, I've heard a lot of complaints from those roads, actually, on Wade Road in particular, because when it's 80, people are going 100. So you drop it to 60, they'll be going 80.
M. Bourgon?
Just to make sure that we're talking about the gravel road portion of Wade Road
Yeah.
only.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
just
it's
that.
Not the whole
The
thing.
north,
Oh, okay,
north of
because
400.
that road is really, like, I'm on the other side, Edie, and when they drop the the speed limit, it was a lot better, as you know also.
Perfect. Mr.
And
Bourgon?
if I can add also, that's an exercise that we're currently doing to all roads. Make sure that all curves got the proper signage, the proper tabs if warning to drivers need to be done. So we're currently in that process of reviewing all our roads.
Perfect. Keeping our citizens safe, can't complain there. Okay, d'autres questions, commentaires? Next item, item E, purchase of generator and trailer, report ISWW 03-2018. The council receives report ISWW 03-2018 dated June 4th, 2018, and approves to increase the capital budget by $36,000 and that the additional cost be financed by the wastewater department's accumulated surplus reserve. And that council approves the purchase of the generator and trailer from Cumming Canada ULC in the amount of $89,585 plus $1,576.70, equaling $91,161.70. This amount includes 1.76% of non-refundable HST. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Lorrain.
How much was the original budget?
75.
And for purchases around 75,000, we need how many bids?
Well, we went public tender that was posted on our website, and we only received 2 bids.
But the purchasing policy states.
That as long as for that amount, we went like the full tender process.
So it doesn't necessarily
does-
say
it-
three.
It
it
four,
doesn't
five.
say we need 3, 2, 1. It just
That's
says as long as you go public tender.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
D'autres questions, commentaires? Quelque chose à ajouter? No, we'll move on. Item F, Emblem Lagoon Sludge Removal, report ISWW 04-2018. That council receives report ISWW 04-2018 dated June 4, 2018, and approves to add the sludge removal at the Emblem Lagoon for a total of $187,000 in the 2018 capital budget. And that council authorized to single source of proposed work to Geo Dredging and Dewatering, Inc., as per Section 21, single source purchases subsection A of the purchasing policy bylaw 65-2013. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Lorrain, Councillor Saucier.
Do you want to go first? You can go ahead.
You guys are so polite.
I talk too much. Come on. So my question is, was this item in the 2018 budget originally? And from the report, it says no.
Monsieur Bourgon.
Is that accurate?
Mr. Mayor, that's correct. Councillor Laurent was not in the 2018 budget.
Okay. Was this something that we knew that had to be done, or is this something that just came up all of a sudden?
Our forecast was that it needed to be done in the next few years. So it was planned in our asset replacement, if I can say, by 2021, if I remember correctly.
So what changed to have it do it now rather than in either 19 or 20 or 21?
Monsieur Bourgon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During our spring discharge, while we're doing all our assessment of the lagoon, we realized that near the outfall in the lagoon, the level of sludge were higher than what we were anticipated. So at this point, since the lagoon are still low, it would be a good time to start that process.
As opposed to waiting another year where it
Or-
might cause issues.
Exactly.
I have no problem with doing it. It makes sense to do it. My problem is
The time.
we just did the budget a few months ago, and now we're coming back to redo the budget.
Yeah.
Right? A few months is in October, but what changed, right? That's where I'm asking, and I understand that, the money's coming out of asset management, which is what they're supposed to be, but I guess that was just my concern, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Saucier, then Conseiller Brisson.
I had 2 questions about this. So like the rain today, how does that impact the lagoon with the sludge?
Monsieur Bourgon.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. So it doesn't really affect the sludge itself. Obviously, being the water and we have open lagoons, we'll see our level rising. Being a big surface and the amount of water, it won't have a major impact. But as for the sludge itself, it doesn't really have an impact.
Because you were saying it's still low, so that's why I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
But I mean, like we have enough room in our lagoons for up to end of October, November. So
Okay.
since we just completed the discharge a month ago, it's still
There's
at
a lot
a
of
reasonable
capacity.
level.
Okay, and my other question was, It said, once dry, it's transported to be used as biosolids applications. Where?
Monsieur
Monsieur
Mayor?
Bourgault?
At this point in time, we haven't decided where it's going to be sent, since that technology or that what we'll be using, we can actually, there's enough room in those big tubes to do several desludging, which means like we'll clean the section that we want to do this year. We'll wait. It's going to dewater. All the waters will come out of those sludge, and we'll be able to, there's probably going to be enough room in those tubes to do another section of the lagoon, which would be the cell right beside it. And at that time, once the water is completely removed, then we'll look at the transportation of those sludge.
I guess my concern is it's coming back to us, and are we using biosolids here? That's really what I'm concerned about.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
That it's being transported, but then it comes back here, and we're using biosolids on our farm fields, or that's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
D'après le rapport from the report, it states that it will be transported by truck to a certified site.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And
And
then
which we
goes
haven't
where?
selected that site yet.
Yeah. parfait. D'autres questions, conseiller Brisson?
Juste pour savoir, parce qu'elle dit que ça a été fait il y a 20 ans passés, mais avec que c'était revidé, puis que là, c'était avec des cranes que ça avait été fait. Puis, c'était tout ça que ça avait été mis sur le bord de la banque. Puis, comme c'est pour quelle raison que c'est pas fait de cette manière-là qu'il y avait avec l'autre? C'est quoi
Monsieur-
qui justifie?
Monsieur
Monsieur
Maire.
Bourgault?
Donc, vous avez raison. À ce moment-là, 20 ans passés, il a utilisé des bulldozers puis la machinerie lourde, mais il fallait que le lagoon soit vide complètement. Puis maintenant, les nouvelles réglementations ne permettent pas d'utiliser cette sludge-là dans les banques comme qui était fait dans le passé. Donc, il faut regarder à d'autres alternatives.
Alors,
Puis
c'est
on
des-
peut pas vraiment se permettre non plus de vider la lagune là, complètement.
alors, c'est des changements à la réglementation.
Exactement.
Donc, juste pour clarifier, ce gros tube-là, donc c'est resté là, c'est pas comme juste mis dedans puis c'est vidé tout de suite, que c'est resté combien de temps dans le tube pour restaurer?
Ben, ça va rester là jusqu'à l'année prochaine. Donc là, on va voir qu'il va sûrement être plein. On prévoit à peu près un tiers. Donc, on va pouvoir recommencer l'exercice avec une autre section du lagoon. Fait la compagnie qui est venue faire notre analyse prévoit qu'on pourrait aller jusqu'à 3 fois
Dans
de
ce
faire
tube-là.
cet exercice-là dans le tube. Ouais.
Puis une fois que le tube est plein, là, c'est qu'il faut qu'il soit coupé le tube pour
Puis là,
pouvoir
tout va être transporté.
extraire la sludge.
Oui, exactement. Que par ce moment-là, ça va être un produit qui va être sec. Parce que toute l'eau va être retirée.
D'autres questions, commentaires? Quelque chose d'autre à ajouter? Non? On va continuer. Item G. Update Water Meter Replacement Report, ISWAT 01-2018. That council receives report ISWAT 01-2018 dated June 4th, 2018. Questions, comments, members of council? Councilor Saucier.
Yeah, I was just curious if there's 70% of water meters not working properly. So it's estimated how people are billed?
Monsieur Bourgon?
Monsieur
I
Maire?
think that's what it
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
you're correct. Those 70% are estimated at this time.
And are people aware of this, the homeowners?
When we send the letter, which is one of the appendix in the report, that to advise people that some meters will be estimated, yes.
Okay.
And clarification on the bill, when they receive their bill, it should state estimate. It says estimate on the bill based on, Mr. Godin?
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna have to verify that information. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's some sort of indication. Not sure exactly the wording, but I can get back to you on exactly how it's presented.
Okay, yeah, I'm just
And-
thinking at previous bills I've received at home. Sometimes it's an estimate, sometimes it's
And
actual
that
readings.
estimate's based on the
Previous.
bylaw, yeah.
Okay,
And based on previous consumption, but we're using that process since it's identified in the bylaw as well.
conseiller Brisson, then conseiller Lorrain.
Yeah, what I don't understand exactly is it mentioned on the report that it's one of the reason is that the company was not able to have the license for the, not the Wi-Fi, but the transmission. So why did we continue changing those head if we're not able to read instead of keeping the old head that we were able to read whenever we were just going to the houses?
Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, l'administration a pris la décision de, comme que j'ai présenté au rapport l'été dernier, d'aller vers la nouvelle technologie, un nouveau système. Donc, c'est ce qu'on tentait de faire, là, d'améliorer la technologie qui était disponible.
Mais ma question, c'est que avant d'aller à la technologie, je pensais qu'il avait vérifié qu'elle marchait. Parce que si on n'a pas le permis, on aurait été pas mieux d'attendre d'avoir le permis de transmission, puis que là, on aurait pu continuer le reading, parce que 70 il me semble, c'est très haut. Je comprends qu'il y en avait une coupe qui ne marchait pas, mais pas 70 que d'avoir gardé les vieilles têtes, qu'on était capable de faire le reading directement quand que le monde passait, en attendant, parce que là, on ne sait même pas si on espère pouvoir l'avoir, mais on ne sait même pas encore, puis on a 70 C'est juste ça, je trouve, bizarre dans la situation.
Monsieur Bourgon?
Ben, le vendredi soir dernier, j'ai parlé avec la compagnie en question, puis on m'a confirmé qu'Industrie Canada a accepté la proposition originale de pouvoir aller avec le réseau fixe. Donc, là, on est en processus juste de compléter les documents qu'Industrie Canada nous demande, mais ils ont accepté là, qu'on puisse aller vers le réseau de fixe. Oui, on comprend que c'est beaucoup plus tard ce qu'on aurait aimé, mais au moins, je pense que c'est quand même une nouvelle, puis au moins, on montre que le dossier avance.
Okay. D'autres questions, commentaires? Conseiller Lorrain?
When we say 70% of the meters are not working, are they broken, or is it just that they got to be read manually?
Monsieur Bourgon?
Monsieur Councillor Lorrain, at this point, they reached their useful life. So basically, the battery's dead, so they're not reading the consumption.
This concerns me greatly. Like, how does somebody complain? How does somebody come to us and we justify their consumption rate? How do we fix that today? Because I'm sure the bylaw didn't contemplate a 70% failure of the system.
Monsieur Bourgon?
Right now, we're changing some meters when there's a change of ownership, as an example. So we do have some replacement, but we just don't want to start changing them all. So we're doing the minimum right now. So as the best example is the change of ownership, so that way we don't have a background of those new owners. So a new meter, a new register is put in place at that time.
So for example, if somebody, if you got a home of 5 people and then somebody buys a house and is a single person, they ask to request a change, obviously their water consumption will be
Exactly.
level different.
But how would that new person know if the owner doesn't tell them and all of a sudden they're getting their water bill and they're thinking it's normal, that amount, and all we're doing is overcharging them or undercharging in certain cases? Like, this concerns me, 70%, that's...
Monsieur Leduc?
Monsieur le Membre du Conseil, maybe Monsieur Godin could provide council with some information as far as how many calls we get, in the sense that we've been getting a lot of these calls. They've been handled by the department, and how they adjust when those calls are received, because this has not been left mute to the point where there's been calls coming in, and the department has been handling these requests, and I think people are satisfied with the way we're handling them. So.
Monsieur Godin?
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Duc, Monsieur le Maire, members of council. So just to respond to your question, we have been receiving calls when there are estimates, and basically what we've been doing is we've been referring to the bylaw and explaining how we do those estimates. I think the way that they are done it's based on past consumptions, not just an average of all the previous 4 or the previous 8, but season specific as well. So I think we've been able to justify it to the users, and there's been In most cases, they've been pretty satisfied with the responses. There are particular instances sometimes where we can have a client that says, well, I was gone in Florida for the whole winter. So how could you invoice the same amount as last year, for example? And so we are open and we do use our judgment in situations like that. So there are adjustments made at some times. But overall, I mean, the responses that have been provided have been satisfactory, and very rare are the cases where it would escalate to me anyways.
Merci, Monsieur Godin. Conseiller Larin.
When can we expect that 70% to be fixed?
Monsieur Bourgon.
As I mentioned, we got the okay from Industry Canada, so there's still documents to be provided to them so they can complete our file. Then when they select a specific frequency, they still need to be put in every meter, then the meter be shipped here, installation.
So timeline, estimate?
I would like to say next week, but unfortunately, we're looking more at a three months window
3 months completed or starting?
to starting the replacement.
Councillor Saucier.
Yeah, well, my other concern is like with past consumption is, again, weather can be a factor, whether we're going through a drought or people could be watering lawns, and different things like that. So again, the overpayment or underpayment is a concern, for a family, especially if they've got a family of 5 or something and everybody's showering and it's hot, water usage varies on all those factors and weather's a big one.
So for clarification, in the case of a hydrometer, I believe you would be able to tell, where you were, and like when it starts up, you'd be able to see the difference. If we install a new water meter, will we be able to see, can we adjust for the past bills, or we can't?
Monsieur Maire, we only have the last reading that meter was actually read.
Right.
So we'll start everybody at 0 to be able to.
No, but I mean, if you take the last reading and you put the new one, there's not a difference there,
No.
right? It's not like a hydrometer where you could have a better
No,
idea.
it's basically, it'll start back
Back
to
at
0.
Okay. Conseiller Brisson?
Juste pour clarifier, donc c'était pas les nouvelles têtes qui avaient été mises, c'était encore le vieux compteur qui était dessus. Puis cette batterie, tu disais que c'était le problème, c'est la batterie qui meurt dedans?
Oui, exactement. Donc, à ce moment-ci, les 70% des meters, des compteurs qui ne fonctionnent plus, c'est les compteurs originaux. Donc, ceux qui ont été installés lorsqu'on a emmené l'eau d'Ottawa en 2009-2010. Donc, c'est ces compteurs-là qui ne fonctionnent plus à ce moment-ci.
Puis ça, c'est une batterie qui est incorporée dans la tête.
Qui est incorporée dans la tête du compteur.
Que c'est pas juste de
exactement.
quoi tu peux arriver. Puis
on avait aussi fait nos recherches si on devait changer de compagnie. Puis c'était une facture d'environ 2,5 millions de faire tout le remplacement de chaque compteur.
Ouais.
Je pense que c'est quand même, dans notre équation, on a quand même fait l'exercice de voir ce que ça coûterait faire le remplacement pour changer de compagnie.
c'est ça, pour commencer, je pensais que vous aviez mis les nouvelles, mais qu'il n'était pas capable de faire le reading.
Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? Quelque chose à ajouter? Non? On va continuer. Item H, Community Grants Report PR 18-2018. The council receives report PR 18-2018 dated June 4, 2018, and approves the following department's recommendations for community grants donations in 2018 to the following groups. 1, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $942 to the Royal Canadian Legion, Russell Branch, for the rental of the Russell Arena slab for their washer toss tournament on June 23, 2018. 2, to approve an in-kind grant in the amount of $465 to the Russell Trivia for the rental of the Frank Kennard Hall for their trivia night for Danita on June 23, 2018. According to the Community Grants and Contribution Guidelines, these requests meet our requirements for funding. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? Move on to the next item. Item I, rental request, Club de Joie de Vivre, report PR 19-2018. The council receives report PR 19-2018 dated June 4, 2018, and approves the reduced price rental of $150, tax included, of the Palais des Sports Hall in Embrun, one time a month from September 2018 to August 2019, for the monthly dinner of Club Joie de Vivre. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? No.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. No, it's just that we're happy to welcome our seniors club once a month. I
Perfect.
think that'll be good for us.
Merci beaucoup. Item J, Acting Mayor Appointment Report CL 05-2018. That council receives report CL 05-2018 dated June 4, 2018, and approves the proposed bylaw to amend the previous acting mayor appointments bylaw to appoint Councillor Jamie Lorrain as acting mayor for the remainder of the term of council from June 5th to November 30th, 2018. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Lorrain?
I guess I just want to make sure that everyone understands what this actually is, and this is only in the case where the mayor is out of the township during that time period, and for the first, we all had 3 different months of the year that was it.
Yep.
And that this would just mean that I would take the rest of the term
That's correct.
if you were away or whatnot. This does not impact any situation where you end up winning your election.
Right.
That's a totally different situation.
Yeah, that essentially, if I was to win the election, then you would be the acting mayor in my stead, and then council will have to make a decision as to how to deal with that scenario. But no, it's,
I
that's,
just wanted
it's,
to make, because I just want the public to think that,
yeah,
that we're appointing a mayor in case you get elected.
no,
Which is
that's
not
not the
what it
case. No. Perfect. Question, commentaire? No? Quelque chose à ajouter? No? Move on to the next item. Item K, Clerk's Office Semi-Annual Report, Activity Report, Report CL 06-2018. That council receives report CL 06-2018 dated June 4, 2018. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? No. Move on. Item L, Ombudsman of Ontario Letter Report CL 07-2018. That council receives report CL 07-2018 dated June 4, 2018 for information purposes. Questions, comments, members of council? Conseiller Lorrain.
I have 2. The first one is, based on what I'm reading, there's no investigation into any
Wrongdoing.
wrongdoing like in the past where we've gotten these. That's the first thing.
Yes,
Madame Cabanillas.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Lorrain, that's correct. It was just for our information and that it be brought back to council for your information.
Okay. And the second one is, I guess, for Monsieur Leduc, is they noted that a mover or seconder for going into closed session was not a member of council. Was that just an oversight on our part when we were doing the meeting? Because I guess we ought to have known that should have been, right?
Monsieur Leduc?
Well, the meeting is led by the mayor, and I think the mayor, Mr. Mayor Laurie, wanted to be equitable to both committees. And just to be fair to say, well, one and one. I think that was the only intent that was there. It was not necessary to go against any rules of procedure, but certainly just to be equitable and to have a joint committee meeting, you would think that that would have been the case, to ask one party to support and one party to move. So I'm not trying to talk for the mayor, but I'm sure must have been his intent.
I think on this basis, it's really it's going to be special council meetings going forward where we invite, not necessarily if we can have an equal partnership in the procedures, then it's not really a joint meeting, right? It's a meeting of council, special meeting, which we will invite the library board to attend and have discussion at that point
Right.
in time going forward.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Next item, item M, Fire Department Quarterly Report Russ-M 03-2018. That council receives report Russ-M 03-2018 dated June 4th, 2018. Questions, comments, members of council? No. Anything to add from our chief? Nope. All good. Thank you very much. Item 12, notice of motions. We have none. Item 13, question period on meeting of the day. I'll ask anyone who's interested in posing a question to please come up to the lectern, state their name and address for the record. Nope. Seeing none, we'll move on to resolutions. Motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item number 11 from reports and departments and council committees. And we will put it on the floor, then we'll remove the other one. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. I believe we asked for item B to be removed. So I need for an amendment. Councillor Lorrain, Councillor Saucier to remove item B. All those in favor? Okay. So we will now vote on everything except item B. So all those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. So now for item B is the Russell Transport Report EcoDev 02-2018. Monsieur Leduc, Madame Laflamme, c'est-tu plus facile juste le mettre un amendement pour le lay it on the table until the next meeting? Oui. So a motion to make sure I get my terminology right. I don't.
So we'll postpone the
Postpone.
motion,
That's
and
what
we
I was
can
looking
add the date to the next regular
Do we
council meeting.
postpone, or we already want that they want this?
Ben, on a donné une direction au
Ouais.
staff, so on va postponer jusqu'aux prochaines réunions. So I just need an amendment to postpone. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Conseiller Brisson to amend until the June 18th meeting. Correct? Correct. All those in favor of the amendment? So it's amended, so now all those in favor to postpone it? Yeah, it's postponed. Okay. 15 bylaws, a motion that council approves bylaws 2018-69 to 2018-71 inclusively for first, second, and third reading as listed on the agenda. And this is being a bylaw to amend for the remuneration for members of council, for the speed limits on Wade, McLaren, and Groves, and to appoint Councillor Lorrain as the acting mayor till the end of term. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Saucier, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 16, new business reports, we have none. Item 17, other business presented by council members. Myself, in regards to the sign bylaw for store windows. Monsieur Leduc, Madame Bordeaux, Madame Tremblay. I know Madame Bordeaux, we had a little bit of a discussion. I had a store owner who approached me who essentially put stickers in their windows, and based on the bylaw, our bylaw department went by and said that you actually need a permit to have stickers in the windows. I know, I'm trying to remember what the reasoning was behind it during that discussion. If I remember well, it was to allow for more visibility in the windows. We didn't want to try and hide stuff so people could see in. Personally, as a previous business owner of a small store in Embrun, I think that if a store wants to put stickers in their window, they should be, it's up to the store. If it looks bad, well, he's hurting his own business. So I'm just asking that that council consider giving direction to the administration to review that section of the bylaw and to bring it back to council to have discussions. If everybody's fine with that, so Monsieur Leduc.
Monsieur le membre du conseil, Mme Bordeaux peut-être ajouter aussi à ça. Est-ce que, à ce moment-ci, vous avez des directions ou c'est à nous d'amener plusieurs options?
Ben, pour moi, personnellement, I think that the reality is if somebody wants to, plaster their store window with a sticker in front, that's up to them. It's their business. As long as it's not like offensive or anything. If it's a burger joint and he wants to put stickers of burgers in the window, I understand that, there might not be visibility in the store, security concerns, but that's not municipal concern. That's a business owner concern. So I would suggest that I'd like to see something along those lines. Because the reality is right now, if I remember well, they could put a coroplast in the window and cover the whole window, but because it's not stuck to the window and it's hanging an inch away from the window, that's permitted. That's correct? Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't necessarily see this difference between a sticker and a coroplast, but Councillor Lorrain?
I guess, when I see that, I don't necessarily looking at necessarily even the small business. I'm looking like at we'll use a furniture store as an example who wants to put 70% discount on the big window because they have a big window. Why can't they do that? It's not gonna be there forever. It's just gonna be there for the time that sale's on. I think that helps promote the business. It's not a permanent exterior fixed sign or a
Well-
sandwich board in front of the store. Like, I think we should definitely revisit it.
Yeah, and just to be clear, there are some stores that the sticker is permanent. I'm just thinking of like the massage place on Notre Dame, where it's a gorgeous sticker. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's, you know, but I'm fine with that type of sticker. Sometimes, honestly, the sticker looks better than what's inside. So, I mean, if somebody's just trying to improve traffic to their store, I don't think we should be hindering that at all. Councillor Associate? Councillor?
Yeah, and I'll use another example is like Curves, Emblem, the gym. They have like a workout sticker, and it's actually so people can't look in and watch people working out.
Right.
So it is a privacy measure also. So they, because they, you know, and it is adhered to the window. And then a dépanneur, for instance, they're gonna have Coca-Cola or something, you know, like there's a lot of permanent stickers that go from the products that they're selling. So I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Conseiller Brisson?
Puis c'était comme que, juste pour amener, que dire ben, si c'est pour une chose de visibilité dans le magasin, ben, c'est pas pire que s'il y avait un mur, tu verrais pas plus dedans. Ça fait que s'il y a une vitrine puis qu'ils mettent dedans, moi je vois pas de problème non plus. S'il y a de quoi, surtout ce que tu viens de me dire, comme quoi que si c'est décollé de la vitrine, c'est correct, mais si c'est collé dans la vitrine, ça ne l'est pas. Ou des fois dessiné dans la vitrine, parce qu'il y a beaucoup qui font ça aussi à cette heure.
Dans des flights, oui.
Dans les fenêtres. Fait que moi, je serais pour qu'on vérifie cet amendement-là. Ce bail-là.
So, c'est correct avec la direction? C'est pas mal clair, Madame
Oui, c'est
Bourdeau? Ou...
Oui, je vais vous amener des suggestions, puis on va aller avec ça.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. Councillor Associate?
I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention and announce that there is a provincial election debate tomorrow evening in Russell. So Tuesday, June 5th at 7 p.m. at Russell High School. So I'm hoping we have a better turnout. You know, voters, you need to get out there. And then in Embrun, there was only about 30 people attended. So I think we need to get more people out there.
Perfect, thank you very much. This point in time, I believe Councillor Lorrain wants to...
Yeah, just based on the discussions that we had tonight, there was two things that I just wanted to bring up at this point because there's no other place for me to bring it up.
Okay.
So the first one is I spoke briefly about the council member, the acting mayor appointment, and I just wanted to clarify because obviously, if there was some sort of a monetary contribution there, I would have excused myself from the discussion and let council vote on it. But because there is no actual monetary value, is why there was no declaration of pecuniary interest for that item.
Right.
And that I stayed and I voted on that item because it is just our general appointments.
Right.
So I wanted that clear in case there were any concerns out there as to why I voted for that.
Well, we gave direction
we
at the
gave
last
direction,
meeting to bring it
But
back.
otherwise, I would have declared a conflict and gone away. But we do this at the beginning of every term of council,
Yeah.
where we appoint
Standard
anyway.
bylaw.
So it's standard practice. The second one is you mentioned, and I think just in jest, but I think it's a good idea. You know, we heard the Canada song going on, and I think we can all agree that it could probably be updated. You know, we have Canada Day in Russell where there's actual stage and whatnot. I think we should consider running some sort of a contest by the township to sing the national anthem, have it recorded, and played at council meetings. I think that'd be a fantastic idea to have people,
Sure.
you know, ask, again, talk to the Russell Lions and the Ag Society and see if there's a spot in the program that you could have, whether it's a half an hour or whatnot, where the acts are taking a rest, and have them go in and you know, we can have, you know, people judging it.
The voice.
And similar to that, right?
And it cannot be worse than what we have right now.
And we can figure out a prize or something. They play it here, but there's obviously, you know, we'll give some sort of a prize with it.
So I think I see heads nodding around the table. So perhaps you'd like to take that project, contact Canada Day organizers, see if, work on that?
I have no problem. With talking with that, I'll talk to Monsieur Leduc about it in the coming days.
Perfect. Councillor Sosi.
Make a quick comment to that. At the musical ride on Friday night, the person that was supposed to sing canceled at the last minute. So they had to scrounge, and they had got Nadia to
Yep.
come and perform, and she blew it out of the ballpark. So she sang a beautiful rendition of O Canada. So
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll even volunteer to be one of the judges if needed, so.
sounds like a plan. Perfect.
No, I do not sing. You do not want to hear that.
Item 18, public meetings, hearings, we have none. Item 19, closed session pursuant to sections 239, 2, 3, and 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, Chapter 25. Motion to move into closed meeting at the hour of 7:46 PM to address matters pertaining to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, Chapter 25, to consider matters relating to 1. Potential land acquisition for the Emblem Lagoon, Section 2C, a proposal pending acquisition or disposition land by the municipality or local board. 2, construction project claim, Section 2B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And Section 2E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Item 3, Human Resources Bylaw, Section 2D, Labor Relations or Employee Negotiations. And Item 4, Transition Plan for the Infrastructure Department under Section 2B, Personal Matters about Identifiable Individual. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Brisson, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. We're now in closed session. Take, 5-minute break before we start up.